With my website, Activism Truth. I've been an activist for 8+ years. I've traveled all over the country working on various campaigns, from New England to Washington, California to Florida, and all over the country. And I promote a solution that I came up with by basically synthesizing all the different concepts that I've understood from the various activism groups I've been involved with to one new palatable solution that we can all participate in for direct action now that will be proactive, creating long-term success and strategies in our goals. What we can do, first of all, check out the website and learn about what Activism Truth is all about. I break down how we have a system of government that and propaganda. There's five major attacks on our society. We have the banking system, which is what this is all about. Wall Street, the Federal Reserve Bank, okay, which finances Wall Street, finances the Fortune 500 companies who suck the commerce out of your community, which is why everyone's making budget cuts. Here in Tucson, they're going to be cutting the budget for the water filtration. They even said in the letter that there's all these carcinogens that can't get out. Did you see that? It's horrible.
Well, I've seen the Tucson City water report.
So this is because of the Fortune 500 companies that are sucking the commerce out of us. What Wall Street does, they finance the big corporations to bigger and bigger and just pillage and plunder from the local economy, the small business owners who really actually pay their higher fair share of taxes. And what we need to do is address all these 5 problems. The economics, we have the propaganda. We have to understand that propaganda comes from both sides, both liberal and conservative propaganda, because both liberal and conservative mindsets were originally created by the Fabian Society of the Royal Court. And this is a group of psychologists and psychoanalysts who desired to psychologically control their populations to make them feel that they had a democracy when it was really just a false system to control them. Propaganda, banking system. Third, the military-industrial complex must be dismantled locally by creating state sovereignty to make sure we have control and sovereignty over our local military bases. And this is all possible with my solutions to Activism Truth, and I have proof to show this, and historical evidence to prove it. And fourth, we have to tackle the environmental challenges, our environment and our health. The problems of these chemtrails is barium and aluminum building up. And I don't know if you believe in conspiracy theories or not, but there's a lot of evidence to show they're wasting a lot of money in the first place spraying these trails that cloud up the sky. In some cities worse than others. People get sick from it. The fluoride in the water and other contaminants that are willingly put in. Sometimes the cities pay tens of thousands of dollars for toxic waste from aluminum factories to put into our water that has been proven to weaken the pineal gland, which is our whole problem when we're not aware of the problems that we face in society. Is our consciousness, the pineal gland controls that, is your very third eye that allows you to visualize thought and conceptualize thought. And the third eye is the most important really organ in your body. That is your sixth sense, and they're attacking that with fluoride in the water. And we have to address the toxins. Being dependent on oil, we can legalize industrial hemp. There's so many solutions for the environment. Finally, the legal system. We are under the Bar Association, which is also a tool of the British Royal Society, and it is a tool that allows the legal system to have a checks and balances system unto itself, where any lawyer or judge who has a conscience finally and realizes that there's corruption in their legal system is basically controlled by the Bar Association. The second they try to challenge a lawyer, try to sue them for corruption, for example, they will just get kicked off the bar by the Bar Association, in which there's no retaliation. They can't hire another lawyer to represent them, to give them the right to the Bar Association again, because the lawyers will realize they get kicked off the Bar Association, take away their right to prosecute, taking away their livelihoods. And that is also solvable by the solution at Activism Truth, because to eliminate the Bar Association, we have to bypass the legislature. The politicians will never do this themselves. The only way to bypass the legislature is using what is called limited direct democracy, the ballot initiative process.
Sorry.
Sorry, we got one.
You were going.
Yeah, keep going right here.
Great. So Yeah, we're here over at the Occupy Tucson event. We need to occupy our local governments with our own representatives and get average people to run for office and build the coalition for all the city council members, the mayor that needs to take charge, the new sheriff, you have an elected sheriff position. And we need to put initiatives on the ballot that allow us to vote for direct change, that allow us to bypass the legislature. We can vote to create an amendment to the Constitution that eliminates the Bar Association and puts lawyers and judges under the Better Business Bureau. This is how we segue back to a common law system. All the sovereignty movement folks, they have the right idea, they just don't know how to go about creating common law. You can try to elect your own representatives, it's kind of make-believe, I hate to break it to you, but if you have your own elected Congress and representatives in your sovereignty movement, you have no jurisdiction over the laws in your community still. To have jurisdiction, we need to empower people. And what does sovereignty mean? It means sovereignty over our area, of course ourselves as individuals, but over our community. And our municipality borders are our borderlines for sovereignty. Our state borders are our borderlines for sovereignty. The only way to gain sovereignty is to utilize the 10th Amendment of the Constitution, which has to be strengthened by eliminating the Bar Association through a direct ballot initiative. And when voters put their initiatives on the ballot, we take away the ability for any corruption to challenge us. You know, there's not going to be an assassination like Martin Luther King or John F. Kennedy because we all of a sudden are the majority. And the proof is in this document right here. This goes to show the most dynamic activism in the history of the world, in the history of America, let's say. Let's just talk about direct democracy. Switzerland, although it's known as a socialist country, is actually a democratic republic. They have a republic system where they elect representatives, but they also have direct democracy. So when the representatives get out of hand, the voters put their own initiatives on the ballot and challenge them, becoming the fourth system of checks and balances, which is not taught in schools, is what we need to awaken in people's minds now.
Not only that, they have 7 presidents, not 1.
They have 7 presidents? Oh, cool. Yeah, great. Can you tell us a little bit about Switzerland?
I don't know very much.
Okay.
I left when I was too young and I wasn't interested in politics. But looking back, really, it is like they have an army that is only there for defense. So they are not a superpower, you know. That has to go. Then they have 7 presidents that keep themselves in checks and balancing, and each one just has part of, you know, an agenda. So like there's a president for economics, one for agriculture, blah, 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 you know, transportation. So that makes it a lot more democratic. So yeah, definitely Switzerland is not a socialist country. It's definitely a very well-working democratic country.
Absolutely. Yeah. And the proof is right here. This is from ballotpedia.org, which is your Wikipedia of ballot initiatives that everyone needs to take a look at. You'll find a plethora of information about ballot initiatives, the history of all ballot initiatives in this country and around the globe. And this shows what was called the Agrarian Revolt. This is historical evidence that farmers realized what the Federal Reserve was. They knew it was a banking cartel takeover, how our country is under siege. And they knew this back in 1915, before cell phones, before cars, before the internet. And they were able to organize 33% of the voters in their country, in their state, excuse me, 33% for ballot initiatives year after year. Actually, to even have the right to ballot initiative, they had to hold the politicians accountable to give them that right. And you know, for year after year, they had to go around in horse and buggy and get signatures on petitions and get 33% of their state. Okay, when they finally got the right to ballot initiative a few years later, from their success of having what I call permanent ballot access, where they had the people organized to put the most crucial initiatives on the ballot almost effortlessly. They put on the most important initiative to create a state bank. It was called socialistic. But it really is a non-profit banking system that is not predatory, is not debt-based. All the money they loan out to only locally owned businesses. No more Fortune 500 companies.
Like the union, I mean, the banks that we have, credit union.
Yeah, credit unions are not even close to a non-profit banking system. Close, but not quite, because they're still making the profits and they still invest in Fortune 500 companies. Oh yeah, but they do definitely focus on the local community for sure. I mean, but yeah, they're trying to make profits however they can. The non-profit banking system invests locally, and then when the loans that come back, the payments that are made back with really low interest rates, mind you, go right back into their general funds. Half of the state's entire funding comes from the bank. of the state. Imagine if Bank of America paid half of their money to your local economy. Okay, you could try to say, okay, let's have socialism and force Bank of America to pay us some money, but that doesn't quite work out that well. What we do is replace them with their own citizen-owned, municipal-owned, local government regulated, local government occupied, municipal banking system. That ends the control of the Federal Reserve over our municipality in our state, and it allows the local businesses to flourish again, and the local students also get the better educations. That's one of the benefits of the state bank.
There you go.
And the proof was, if they could do this in 1913, why couldn't we do this now? This is before cell phones and internet technology. They needed 33%. Today we only need 3% to 5 to 10% of the voters, okay, to have our ballot initiatives on the ballot, depending on what city or area or state you're in. That means that this 99% movement has so much going for us, because all we really need is 1% to have what I call permanent ballot access, which is where we can put any citizen-controlled initiative on the ballot effortlessly with the internet by printing it out at our home computer and signing it and mailing it in. This is one that was for the city of Tucson most recently. This is just a blank petition because they ended the petition drive. They didn't get all the signatures they needed. This is for the Tucson initiative to decriminalize marijuana to a $5 fee. It's a piece of paper. It's a legal document. It can be printed from your home computer and signed by yourself. The groups that go about ballot initiatives today, they don't have the same mindset of long-term success. They fundraise a bunch of money, they get a bunch of volunteers. Tracy had a bunch of friends going to the market, getting signatures. They got their signatures once, but when the initiative failed, they had no way to recontact with those people. Those people they don't have a way to get back engaged to ensure that it gets on the ballot next time. It would be far more proactive if we began organizing ahead of time to organize our 5% that we need. And once we have that 5%, know that we have all the voters we need to qualify our ballot initiatives. At that point, we can qualify it almost overnight. We could challenge the system to the point where they'll be running scared leaving our country. We can put recalls on the ballot for every corrupt politician. We can create initiatives that create new checks and balances for all the bureaucrats that are also not elected. And the sky is the limit. And ballot initiative solutions, so check out activismtruth.com. I have a directory there. I'm creating it's a resource for all activists around the country. If you have a local person who's running for office, if you have a local campaign you want to get on the ballot, you come to my website with your campaign, you contact me, we build you a page on our directory that's easily accessible by anyone with a computer. They find the state, they find the city, they find the local groups, and we build a grand coalition for all the groups. Although they have their individual causes, also, sign on to the cause in the sense that they're saying that they will have solidarity with the full movement for the most crucial initiatives first. So we'll actually create a democracy within this democratic movement. All the people in the organization will vote for what the top causes are that we need to focus on. We get our 10,000 voters in Tucson we need, for example. Everyone pitches in 25 cents. We got all the funding for the ballot initiative, and we got the signers right there. Problem solved. We got the initiative on the ballot. It goes out to every voter in the voter guide. Voters who are just asleep, who don't know about the banking system hijackers, they will realize that they can solve the economy's problems with a nonprofit bank, and that will begin waking people up and give them the opportunity for a direct vote for change. State bank solution and the Bar Association. We got to legalize industrial hemp. You won't even hear Al Gore talking about that because he is part of the system. He's saying he endorses the Occupy movement. Don't be fooled. They're going to try to hijack this movement. Just like the Leninist movement was hijacked by the Fabian Society and the royal courts in England and the big banks. Put Stalin in place. Okay?
That won't be as easy this time because of the internet.
It won't, right. We have a lot going for us, but don't let this be hijacked by the Democratic Party or any, new movement like
MoveOn.org or any kind of publicity propaganda machine.
Yeah, Switzerland has a limited direct democracy that is balanced with a republic, and we have that available in 24 states. We must take advantage of that right now. That 1% can get permanent ballot access and challenge the whole system. The internet will make it possible. 1%, what is that? We have 100 people here. That means each of us just get 10 people to then get 10 more people. Problem solved. The duplication principle. I highlight that on the website. Never feel powerless. Never try to leave it up to an organization to follow this.
I made a profit.
This is up to you getting out in the street, handing out your own flyers, getting behind your own local organizations, and I have a really dynamic solution at the site. Furthermore, getting into how to create a local currency that solves the Wall Street problem also. And it creates a long-term system for entrepreneurs, for people looking to earn money right now that are looking for jobs to become activists.